I don't know why I'm here most of the time. You know, it seems like one day I just sort of, 1985, I said, take me, Great Spirit, show me where to go, and I wound up here in Bondi.
Okay, so everybody please stand up.
Australia is sort of on the cusp, and I think within 20 years, Australia will emerge as the new role in the new model for the rest of the world to look at and to see.
Okay, so left hand out, let's let it go. Ready?
When the spirit takes you, and in Australia it seems it often does. Good evening. As we go to air, we're monitoring live satellite pictures of the critical confrontation in Moscow, and we'll cross live to the Russian capital the moment there's a dramatic development. But for now at least, tonight's Four Corners is about a battle for hearts and minds right here in Australia. We Australians are either highly spiritual or especially gullible. Whichever, it means that we're very susceptible to those messianic outfits loosely described as cults. Most of us only become aware of the more sensational cults, the ones making the headlines at Jonestown or Waco. Such bizarre events merely prompt outsiders to question how anyone could become involved. Tonight, Four Corners looks at two organisations, both originating in America and both presenting a fairly normal face to society. In fact, one has the support of senior management in both the public service and private enterprise. Once inside these organisations, however, the methods which have raised concern become apparent. Our reporter tonight is a Uniting Church minister with a reputation as Australia's foremost authority on cults. The Reverend David Milliken prepared his story with producer Varsha Sidwell.
This is the Post and Fun body call for passengers travelling to Canberra.
This is Robert Kiyosaki, business training entrepreneur who franchises controversial business programs in 27 countries. He does 80% of his business in Australia.
When Americans think of heaven, they probably think of Australia. My ideas are more accepted here than in America. And it's how open are your ideas right now, how tolerant are you of other people right now will make the difference whether we go into the future successfully or we stay back with old ideas.
The point is for us to have this persistence and shameless character that, God, you're the one who can meet this need. You're the one, I gotta come to you, God.
Mike Fontenot is lead evangelist and head of the Boston Church of Christ in the South Pacific, an American import rapidly growing amongst young people and students in Australia.
You end up having to reevaluate just about everything in your life.
Yeah, well, Steve Hassan is the guru, intellectual and star exit counsellor of the anti-cult movement. He has a troubled past as a deprogrammer and rescuer of people lost in cults.
Everyone is susceptible if they're approached at the right time in the right way, and if they're ignorant about mind control and cult operations. It's not just weak-minded people. That's the misconception, is that it's weak-minded people from bad families who are just looking for something, but everyone is vulnerable.
Our lives are surrounded by the shrill voices of people and groups offering us success and salvation. They may offer freedom from God's eternal judgment, or they may offer something more immediate, like personal success and money. But they have within them powerful forces that can dramatically change people's lives. The Boston movement and Money in You are two recent American arrivals enjoying great success in Australia. Both are controversial, but both offer a seductive and certain way to salvation. And yet for many people, their involvement with these groups has been devastating. James Lowell was senior partner with Smith's Leslie Barwick, a successful commercial legal firm in Brisbane. James did Robert Kiyosaki's Money and You course in 1987. The result was disaster. 8 months ago, he was exit counselled by Steve Hassan.
What was happening? Things were going crazy. I left my wife. I did things that I could never explain properly the state of mind I was in to enable me to walk out on my wife, who at that stage had twins, under 2, and a 6-month-old child.
Emma Hodgkins was part of the Boston Church of Christ. She became the Eastern Zone women's leader, but found herself quickly isolated from the world outside.
My disciple said that, you know, I needed to be committed. I needed to burn my bridges, so to speak. Cut off the relationship if it was going to mean do the best for God. And that meant cutting off relationships with my family.
Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land? Don't you want to go to that land where I'm bound?
My wife and I moved to Australia in August 1981 and began this church in January 82 with 4 people. Now there's probably 1,100, 1,200 members.
This church enjoys the normal privileges of an established religion in Australia. They are committed, tireless and successful. And yet there is a growing chorus of people who say they are a cult.
We say we are not a cult. We follow the Bible. The first century church was accused of being a sect, which is basically the same thing. We are not that. We're just taking the scriptures seriously. And because that's so seldom done, people accuse us of being fanatics.
Hello. Great to see you again.
Most people join groups like this not because of the beliefs. It's because they are met by people who are enthusiastic and loving.
I'm going to see your band tonight.
For them, the world outside is lost, and they see themselves as having the only message.
We think the mission of the church is to seek and save the lost. So our mission on earth is to propagate the faith of Christ and to make disciples of all nations.
What we need to do now is just go off. Let's just maybe go off in pairs or something like that, and we'll go and meet a few people. Let's have a great day.
Yeah.
Okay? No worries. Okay, catch you.
They are looking for young people like themselves. With endless energy, they go 2 by 2. It's about getting the numbers to church.
To come to a church that they go to, a Christian church, on a Sunday morning.
This is where life in the Boston Church of Christ begins, with a friendly greeting on the street.
I would tell someone that they need to meet 30 people a day. If they meet 30 people a day, then they'll probably get about 10 contact numbers that they can ring up each day. It's like, all right, everybody, let's get out there. We've got to meet 30 people. We've got to meet 40 people a day. Come on, let's go and blitz the streets.
Sorry, I'm a Buddhist.
Oh, basically asking everyone you see as you go down the street. So it's a numbers thing.
These young people believe that they hold the key to eternal life. Those who turn away, they believe, are turning from God and doomed to hell.
Just like to welcome you all. If it's your first time here, just relax, and there's nothing too in-depth here. Just relax, it's very comfortable. Okay, the opening question tonight is, what is the most frightening thing you've ever seen?
First contact with the life of this church for outsiders is here.
You're probably wondering, what has this got to do with the Bible, right? Yeah. It's got a lot to do with the Bible. So you can just open your Bibles up.
It's a Bible study, but the goal is not discussion of the mysteries of Scripture. It's about assimilating outsiders into the social life of the group. No matter what their lives are like in the world, here they have purpose and mission.
The word outside needed to be saved. It was like they were all lost, they were all destined to hell, all the people. It was a corrupt, evil world that it was only us who could save it. It was only our works that could save it.